Storage Wars, the most expensive finds. Hey guys, welcome back to Field Trend. Storage Wars is a show that premiered in 2010. The show focuses on lively and entertaining storage auctions and the professional buyers, often secondhand store owners, who bid at them. The show quickly became one of the most popular. In today's video, we take a look at the most expensive finds on the show. Stay tuned. Old Ship Wheel. In this Season 5 episode, the owner of a resale shop called Grandma's Attic, Ivy Calvin, decided to place his bets on a mysterious locker. Scanning through his $300 haul, things are not so impressive at first since he mostly finds a collection of low-priced items. Loading his truck with a bunch of $5 sleeping carts, a $2 trash can, and a $10 bed frame, Calvin started to feel regretful of his purchase. However, what would come next would not only surprise Calvin but absolutely everyone watching. As he moves aside the worthless mattresses laying against the wall, he finds a massive wheel resting behind him. Dubbing it as one of the coolest items he's ever found, Calvin was finally feeling hopeful that he would make a profit. Heading over to the Los Angeles Maritime Institute to get it appraised, the expert seems amazed with what he found. Supposedly, most ship wheels would have a maker's mark or a date stamped on them, but this one oddly didn't. Regardless, the expert confirmed that it was definitely a real boat's wheel, and that with the right buyer, he'd easily make over $1,500 on it. This was a definite win for Calvin, who will net over $1,000 in profit if he plays his cards right. Vintage Mario items. Daryl and Brandon decide to join forces to defeat Barry and Jared in a bidding war in the 4th season of the show. After a ton of back and forth and speed talking from the auctioneer, Daryl grabs the locker for a relatively high $900 bucks. At first glance, most of the stuff in the unit looks like junk, but things get really good as they start digging around. They find an old Xbox worth $20, $70 worth golf clubs, a $200 float tube, a $100 washer, a $300 TV, and more, making their money back easily. Things only get better once they take a look inside the garbage bag that contains some very valuable items. Firstly, they pull out a vintage Japanese Mario Brothers board game. They then find a vinyl Nintendo box with a bunch of Mario collectibles, bringing it over Gamer Dock in Highland Park, California. The expert seems really impressed, pointing out that he's only seen the first and third version of the board game. He believes that the second is the rarest of the series, giving them a $700 estimate for the price. The box is for around $1,000. This bumps up their unit's value to over $5,000, meaning they can get net $4,000 in profit from this haul easily. What a great find! Records and stereo equipment. Daryl Sheets went head-to-head with Dave and Jared in a fierce bidding war for what seemed like a jackpot unit. It's clear that the three saw something of value in this locker since even Jared went well over his $800 cap to try and grab it. In the end, after a tense back-and-forth battle, Sheets cropped this unit for a whopping $2,100. Hoping to figure out the approximate amount of time the items were being stored for, Sheets finds a newspaper that was published over 20 years ago. This was already a great sign for the famous gambler, since he would more than likely find something valuable. After removing a couple useless items from the units, Sheets comes across a box of vintage vinyls. Though this was only the beginning, he also found a box containing a Thorns turntable in mint condition and a Bozak speaker. Sheets points out that these turntables are extremely sought after by sound nerds and that they'd do anything to get their hands on one. Hoping to figure out the value of what he just found, Sheets heads over to the audio specialist to get it appraised. The expert seems very fascinated with what he brought in and confirms that it's a great find. After playing some music in high fidelity, the expert offers him $1,800 for the kit, which pushes the unit's total value to $2,700, with Sheets netting around $600 in profit. Biker suit. This time, Jared, Dave, and Ivy face off in a bidding war for a unit that was definitely owned by a hoarder. Not wanting to pay any more than a couple $100, Ivy comes out on top and snatches the locker for $300. Excited, the Grand Miss Attic owner decides to take a peek at his purchase and expresses that it'll take months to clear. Grabbing onto a bike that was crammed between the mountain of items, Ivy watches as it all comes toppling down in the pile of junk. He finds an odd-looking shoe that was hard and comes across a bag with a bunch of interesting equipment. Uncertain of what he was looking at first, Ivy realizes that it's protective equipment for female bikers. It's meant to cover every inch of your vitals to ensure that they stay protected in the event of a crash. Ivy calls an expert named Stacy to get it appraised. She highlights that the leather suit he found is specifically used in professional motorcycle racing, and it's quite valuable. She gives Ivy a shocking revelation. He can easily get $2,500 for the item, thus netting well over $2,000 on this item. Movie Spotlight. Waiting close to an hour for his friend Mary Padium to help him unload his locker, Ivy is justifiably irritated. When she finally arrives, they start off kind of slow with items that were barely worth anything, finding a small TV screen worth $10, two $10 table stands, and a box filled with garbage. What they find next will blow your mind. Resting on a shelf in the corner of the unit was a massive spotlight that was likely used in Hollywood show. Additionally, they came across a matching stand with wheels on it, making this a complete set, easily worth over $1,000. Betting on this item's price, Calvin believes it'll be worth around $2,300, while Padium's guess is $1,500. Hoping to get a conclusive answer in regards to the item's price tag, the two bring it over to Larry and Michael Parker, whose grandfather was the manufacturer of this light. Getting a little background from the brothers on what they were dealing with, they expressed that it's called a Fresnel and was made in the 1930s. Thankfully, it was in working condition and had beautiful chroming, which brought up the value even more. Finally, Larry and Michael revealed that the light can easily go for $2,500, meaning that Calvin won the bet. This was an insane find for a cheap locker. That brings us to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching!